am Courtney at womenlivingwell.org, home of Good Morning Girls, and we are reading through the Bible cover to cover, and we are in the book of Ecclesiastes, one of my favorite books of the Bible because it gives me the kick in the pants that I need. And today we are going to look at 3 ways that loving stuff leads to misery. And in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, we're going to start in the verse of 10, and we see where it says that when we love stuff, it says, he who loves money will not be satisfied with money, and he who loves wealth will not be satisfied with his income. You know, there's always someone with $1 more. There's always someone with $1 less. There's always something more that we can long for when we don't have contentment. And so the first way that we can love stuff and lead to misery is through a lack of contentment. Now, I remember years ago dropping my kids off at a Sunday night program at church, and so I went over to Target and I had, about an hour to spare, and I thought, I'm just going to read my Bible right now. And so I sat down in the area where they sell popcorn and hot pretzels and things, and I got a little snack, and I started reading Ecclesiastes. And as I was reading about all these meaningless things, right, in Ecclesiastes, I heard this incredibly annoying sound. And it kept going on and on and on. And the sound was the sound of the beeping of the cash registers. And they were beeping every time, right, something was scanned. And then it was like, the more I tuned in on the sound, the more annoying it got, because now it was like all the cash registers were like playing in unison. They were all beeping together as there were all these things being bought. And I thought, normally I love that sound because I like buying stuff. But for the first time, I just sat there and listened, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is me. I like to buy bins and baskets and bags and all kinds of stuff to organize my stuff. And yet, we are never satisfied because these are not the things that are meant to satisfy our souls. I have an old TV stand from when we first got married 18 years ago, and I love jewelry. Okay, and I never get rid of any of it. I really need to. But I'm always like, oh, this might go with something someday. And so I went and I bought a bunch of hooks and I put them inside this TV stand, and I organized all my jewelry in my bedroom because I needed something bigger than a jewelry box. Okay, this is a sad admission of, this is the truth, that I struggle with, wanting to buy more stuff, that I like the sound typically of those beeps, and yet I realized even that day as I sat there that that is the sound of vanity. Meaningless, meaningless, everything is meaningless, said Solomon, and it is true that our souls are not satisfied. We always want a little more. So the first way that loving stuff can lead to misery is to have a lack of contentment. The second one is that people will want our money. If you do have extra money, people want a piece of that pie. Verse 11 says, when goods increase, they increase who eat them. And what advantage has their owner but to see them with his eyes? Now, for a moment, let me pause and just say that I mentioned about my jewelry. What good does it all do there except that I can see it with my eyes? I can't wear it all at the same time. That would be absurd. But I like seeing it all there and knowing that, oh, if I wear a blue outfit, I have that. And if I wear a purple outfit, I have that, right? I like having it all there. And so, but it doesn't do a whole lot of good laying there, right? And so in the same way, we can do that with cars. You can do that with, just other stuff, clothing. We can have so much stuff that maybe, we can't wear it all. We can't use it all, and yet we think that it's going to be what makes us happy. Well, I read an article about the people who have won the lottery. And I don't know if you've heard about it, but there's they call it the curse of the lottery, where people think that they're going to be happy when they win. And there are tons of stories of people who won the lottery and they were miserable. And so I printed out an article about it, and my son saw it laying on my desk, and he was like, what? And this really interested him because he could not believe these stories. I mean, there's a man named Jack Whitaker who won $315 million in the lottery, and he says he wished he had torn up his ticket, that winning that money has ruined his life. Abraham Shakespeare would have been better off broke. He won $30 million, and there was a gold digger who pursued him, a woman, and she ended up killing him for his money. So that wasn't good. Sandra Hayes won $224 million. She split it with her coworkers, and she says that it ruined her. She said it changed how her friends and family treated her, and she had to endure the greed and the need of the people who were trying to get her money. She said they became like vampires, trying to suck the money out of her. And then finally, Donna Micken won $34.5 million, and she said that the big win ruined her life and led to emotional bankruptcy, and that most of us think that winning the lottery is the ultimate fulfillment, but she found that was not the case. And there are many more articles online about people who committed suicide afterwards or ended in divorce, and we hear this and we think, come on, is it that hard to win the lottery? You think that it wouldn't be, but what is true is this, is God's word, and that is that money does not satisfy. And these people testify that it did not make their lives better. So 3 ways that stuff leads to misery. 1 is a lack of contentment. 2 is people want your money if you have excess. And then the 3rd one is that you can't sleep. According to verse 12 in chapter 5 of Ecclesiastes, it says, "Sweet is the sleep of a laborer, whether he eats little or much, but the full stomach of the rich will not let him sleep." Now this seems clearly ironic because we think the stomach is full of the rich man. He should be able to sleep great at night. Why is it that the laborer can sleep while the rich cannot? And I believe that it's because, first off, the laborer has worn himself out working. Well, maybe the rich man that day didn't have to work real hard, right? He can take it easy, so he may not be as tired. But secondly, there's a lack of contentment there with the rich man. That greed drives him to want more, so he lays awake at night thinking of ways that he can earn more money, thinking of ways to protect his money. He has to worry about people stealing it. He has to worry about all the things he owns and if they're broken and they need fixed. And if you have 2 houses, you have to worry about that second house and managing it. If you have 2 cars or 3 cars, you have to manage those things, and you have to worry about people breaking in and stealing the things you have or making wrong investments with your money. And so having things does not solve the problems of life and does not satisfy our soul. As a matter of fact, Jesus said in Matthew 6:24 that no man can serve 2 masters, for he will either love the one and hate the other. And he says you cannot love God and money. This is from the mouth of Jesus. He says you cannot love God and money. Money does not lead to stability. As we see here in these examples I've given you, it does not lead to stability. And so we cannot go chasing after those things. God leads to stability. He is our fortress. He is our strength. He is the one who keeps us from not being shaken. He is the one who gives us sweet sleep at night. He is the one who gives us contentment. He is the only one who can satisfy. So beware of the lure and the temptation of money and things in this world. Cling to Jesus, draw deeper in with him, and keep walking with the King.